So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how to use the vacuum former. Now, a vacuum former is used to create stuff like food packaging by using a thermoplastic, most likely high impact polystyrene or HIPS, and then that plastic gets heated up, is wrapped around a mold, and when the mold is taken out of the plastic, you are left with the packaging. So just to show you a few of the controls here, so this is the off and on switch. This dial here turns the heater to either low, 1, 2, 3, 4 and full. Press this button to start the heater. We've got our vacuum pump switch here, which I'll show you in a second. And we've also got a vacuum and blow section here. Now this model is fairly old. But it has the same technique as an industrial one, same technique as the newer ones as well. So on here, I have got my mold. So what we are creating at the moment for year 9s is a packaging for their pin badges project. And as you can see, it's completely made out of MDF. So you need something that wouldn't get too hot or wouldn't burn under the heat of the heater. These holes here is to ensure that there's airflow going through the mold into the plastic to ensure that the mold can then separate from the plastic. You will also notice that I put holes all around the mold of the side here as well, and the edge of each part has been tapered. Now if that was a straight edge or a square edge, the mold would actually get stuck into the plastic, so you need to make sure that you have a tapered edge so that it can be released. Some people also put some polish on there, so just furniture polish that helps loosen the mold and the plastic once it's done. The heater, you should be able to see here, that's like a reddy orange glow, is a heating element very, very similar to what you would find inside a toaster at home, that thin orange strip that you see when you toast bread, but this is on a slightly larger scale. The mold itself is actually sat on a platen. Now the platen can be lowered and raised. So to start the process, you do have to lower the platen to make sure that the mold is inside securely like so. The next process is to put plastic over this section here that is completely sealed. Okay, so I've got my plastic piece here. So this is high impact polystyrene HIPS, which is a thermoforming plastic. This is perfect for thick packaging, vacuum form packaging that you might find in shops and so on. However, what you will notice at the moment is that there is a big gap there. Now that's not going to cause a vacuum if there is a gap, so you need to make sure that you tighten that plastic right down so no air can go in or out of the product. If it does, this process will not work, hence the name vacuum former. So to lock this into place, first thing we need to do is to bring the guard down here and ensure that the plastic is completely covered all the way around. And you can see that I've put a few excess in there to make sure that it overlaps. Now, this could be considered as a waste of material, which I completely agree with, but to ensure that this works perfectly every single time, having a couple of centimeters on each side will help us do that. Once you've got the plastic in place, you would press this down and then you need to lock it into place. So the way to do this, press down and you'll hear it click like so. There are two sections that need to do this. So press down. Now that plastic is completely locked in. It is airtight because of the seal we have here and this locking mechanism all the way. The next step is to pull the heater over the HIPS plastic. Now it'll probably take about 2 or 3 minutes for this to become malleable enough to make a product out of it. Okay, so the heater on this model pivots down, goes over the plastic like so, and it will take roughly about 1.5 minutes for it to heat up, and you'll start seeing the process in a second. So you can see the heater at the top there, and you might be able to see the plastic just starting to form at the bottom, so it's raising up now. Now, once it's turned into this kind of ripple effect that you see here, you leave it there for another about 20 seconds. You can see that it's still trying to change a little bit. Now, in my eyes, that now looks malleable enough to be able to vacuum form. Now, just to prove to you what has happened, you can see that this has got like the rubbery texture to it. Now, obviously it's starting to cool down, so this will solidify again, but I'm just going to put the heater back over. You'll see those ripples all the way across. This showing that the plastic is now ready to be formed. Now, some vacuum formers actually comes with a timer that tells you exactly when to do it. However, as I mentioned earlier, this is an older model. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to grab this handle on the side here, and we raise the mold up all the way until we hear a click, like so. Now, you can see that it's just pushed against the plastic. The plastic is malleable enough to go and accept this, this mold. Now, all we need to do now is to flick this switch, which causes the vacuum pump to turn on. Now, what that does is it extracts all the air that's inside and forces that plastic to wrap around the mold. Now, it is quite loud. I'm going to lift the heater up, and you should be able to see that that plastic has gone all around this. Now, one of the main issues that you have with vacuum forming, if I was to drop the platter now, it won't move. That's because the mold is actually stuck to the plastic itself. Might be my design, it might be a little bit too tight in areas, but the other section on this is that it has a blow section. What that does is gives it a bit of a blow just to expand that plastic a little bit to release the mold. So if I just turn that on now, you should be able to see the plastic move a little bit. And there it has, it's just popped everything out. Now I should be able to drop the platen down. Okay, so the platen is now being dropped down, and what you are left with is this vacuum formed plastic packaging. Just lift that. That looks like so. It's quite difficult to show you in this light, but you can see that it's completely formed around that plastic. That would then be cut out, and then you have your plastic packaging. Okay, I've switched everything off. The mold is now out. I have got an example of a packaging here as well, just to show you. You can see that we've cut around it. And if you place this on a mold, like so, you can see that it fits perfect. So that is how plastic packaging is made. Things like for food products or any product that you buy from the shop that's got this vacuum seal around it.